In the name of Allah, the most merciful and the most beneficent. Assalamu alaikum dear students, and welcome to lecture number 23. This lecture we are doing from the unit number 3, duty and responsibility. As you all know that in lecture number 22, we started the reading section 3.2. Today we are going to cover the reading part of this section, and we will try to understand what the lesson is about. So, the title is Lincoln Gorge, a man should never leave his post. You can open your book on page number 94 for this lesson. Okay. In the previous lecture, we talked about who is Tu Panchang, and we also talked about what are the different elements of a short story. That was an introduction lecture that we did regarding this reading section. Today I am going to read it for you and explain it for you. But before that, let me explain the word what is gorge. A gorge is a narrow passage, you can say a path between it's a path that is going to have on its both side mountain or rock or something like that is steepy type area, and in between that steepy type area there is a tunnel like passage that we are going to call as gorge. In Urdu, in simple words, you can say ghati. So here this is also a gorge where the writer is trying to pass from that gorge, and he is going to talk about that gorge whose name, the gorge name is Lincoln Gorge. Now Lincoln is the name of the gorge that the writer is talking about. Okay, so you might be thinking about this black line that if Lincoln Gorge is the title of this reading, what is this one? This is called as the subtitle. Usually what happens that a writer wants to convey two messages in one story, and the second title that the writer writes over there, it is usually related to the moral story, or you can say the lesson that the writer wants to convey us, the writer wants to teach us at the end of the lesson. So it is basically related to that moral obligation that we will learn after reading this text. So this is called as the subtitle. Okay, now let's start reading this section. The snow, already more than half a foot deep, obliterated the line between earth and sky behind a hazy white curtain. Now this is imagery. Imagery is when the writer is trying to portray things and it appeals to your five senses. Remember, we talked about the figure of speeches that the writer must use the figure of speeches, or you can say that the literary devices, just to make the story interesting. So this is the first, you can say, literary device that Tu Panchang is using. He is now portraying the picture in front of our eyes, and he is saying that it's snow falling, and it's already the snow has already taken place, or it's now half a foot deep. So he is saying that the weather is so hazy, so blurred, it has blurred the image, it has blurred in front of my eyes, so that I cannot differentiate between the earth and the sky. He means to say that everything is white because of the snowfall, so there is no difference between the line that is differentiating between earth and sky. Because of this snowfall, everything looks like white and hazy. Hazy means blur. I had been following the path of future railway for 40 kilometers. Remember, In the introduction, we talked about Tu Pen Chen, that he belonged to a poor family. Then he joined military life, and he somehow portrayed all the events that occurred in front of him. So this railway line, it is related to the railway line that we discussed in the previous lesson, that it is the first electronic railway that was being constructed to connect the northwest part of China to the southwest part of China in 1958, which name was Pauqi Tu Chen Tu, the name of the railway. So he is now talking about that railway, that I have traveled, I have walked through this railway that is under construction, that is for the future railway. Although I could hear the roar of machinery further back in the hills, I had seen neither worker sites nor workers. Now again, it's a kind of imagery that if the weather is hazy, if everything is white, so when he's looking back, like when he's moving forward and he's looking backward, he is saying that I cannot see nor the workers nor the work site where the work is being going on, but yes, I can hear the sound of the machinery that are working back over there. Entering Lingquan Gorge, my irritation increased. Now this is the main area where we are going to now moving towards the title. He is saying that now I am entering the gorge. The gorge name is Lingquan Gorge, and I am tensed. My irritation increase means that the pressure over my head is increasing. Even in clear weather, in this gorge, the sun never shone. So we can imagine that on the both sides of the path, the rocks are so steepy that they have covered the path, and there is a, like you can say that there's hardly passage of sun. So he's saying that when the weather is clear, even daytime this gorge is quite dark. There is no sunshine inside this gorge. It didn't matter where you looked up along the twisting course, the most you could see of the sky was a patch no bigger than the palm of your hand. So he's saying that this gorge is so connected at the top that you can hardly see the sky like the size of your palm, because the course, the rocks that are so twisted with each other that it seems that they are connected somewhere, and you can just see a small part of the sky that is just equal to your palm. Now it was dusk, and the swirling snowflakes and gale made every step difficult. Now he is saying that as he has said that even when the weather is clear, it is quite difficult to move inside this gorge. So you can imagine that it is snow falling, it's dark. So now every step that I will take inside this gorge, that will be quite difficult for me. Construction in the gorge was busy. Everywhere people were at work. Generators, cement mixers, air compressors shook the ground. Now he is saying that even the people, they are working in this gorge also. So there are generators, cement mixer, air compressor, they have taken already the place, they have already taken the ground. Now you can see that this is the image over here. Hundreds of light bulbs gleam dim and yellow. Electric wires crisscrossing like a giant spider web, barely scarcely visible, but I could see the overhead cables and their pulley cars sliding back and forth, loaded with materials. Now he's giving us the picture that even in this gorge there is a construction going on, there is a machinery over there, cement mixer is over there, air compressor is over there, generator is over there, and even hundred of like bulbs they are there. And he has also portrayed the color of the bulb, that it is dim and yellow. And then the electric wires that are also spread over there, so I can see things quite hardly, and I can see them, I can imagine the cars moving forward and backward loaded with materials. So he is saying that even the people, they have started constructing in this gorge. Hungry, cold, I tripped and fell, scraping my hands. Enough. I would find some place under a cliff, out of the wind, and rest a few hours. Now he is saying, I'm hungry, I'm cold, tripped and fell means that I am too tired and I'm fell, and scraping my hand means that he is rubbing them just to make himself warm, and he is now angry. He is saying that enough. Now he is saying that I have walked so much that it's more than enough. I cannot work further. So he is saying that I will find a place under a cliff, out of the wind, and rest a few hours. If I reach the materials depot tomorrow morning by 10 o'clock, that still wouldn't be too late. Now he is saying that I am moving, I am going towards my place. Even if I am going to reach there by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, it won't be late that much. Stumbling around the dark like this, I was liable to fall into some deep ravine, and that would be the end of this materials department chief. I would have to be put on the used up list. Now he's saying that the weather is harsh, it's dark, like it's now getting dark, we are moving towards night, and everything is so dispersed over here that I cannot see the things. Now these are deep ravine means that you can see that there are different places which are quite difficult to cross. So he is saying that it's too dark inside this, that I cannot see anything, and he is saying that I was about to fall under this ravine, and then this was end of my life. I noticed a path leading to a cave in the cliff side. A door curtain hanging in the entranceway showed that the cave was undoubtedly occupied by workers. Grasping branches along the steep path, I heeled myself up to the door and entered. Now he is saying that when I was moving inside this path, I saw leading a cave inside the cliff side, means that inside the cave, inside the area, inside the gorge, I saw a small cave where inside the gorge there was side of the, and a door curtains hanging in the entranceway showed that the cave was undoubtedly occupied by workers. So he is saying that the workers have made this place for them to rest inside that. Grasping branches along the steep path, I heeled myself up to the door and entered. Now he is saying that I somehow managed and I moved inside that area, that place. Strange, seated on a small stool in the doorway was a little boy, 7 or 8 years old, elbows on knees, supporting his face in his hand. Now you can see that how beautifully he is trying to picturize everything for us. He's saying, when I entered, I was surprised. That is why he's saying strange. Seated on a small stool in the doorway was a little boy, 7 or 8 years old, elbows on knees. This is how mostly we used to sit, that we are going to put our elbows on our knees, and then we are supporting our face and we are sitting down. So he's saying that the boy, small boy, was sitting over there. That's all for today. We will continue in next lecture. Thank you so much.